As many of you are aware, there has been a war on drugs, quote unquote. And that war has primarily been fought in the African American communities. Okay? And the African American communities have suffered significant casualties, i.e., people being arrested, not only drug dealers, okay, but people who use drugs and given time in jail, okay? You could get 5-10 years for being in possession of a joint. And I am not kidding about that. But apparently the war on drugs that's being fought in the black community is more than likely not being fought in the right place. Here's a story regarding rampant drug abuse in the state of West Virginia. Now, I leave it to you to look at other states like the state of New Hampshire, the state of Indiana, okay, and the rampant abuse of drugs in those two states, just to name those two. It's going on all over the place. But there have been a lot of stories out about massive overdosing and death in the states of, again, New Hampshire and Indiana. But in my mind, if they really wanted to go after the people that were responsible for drugs pouring into various places, they need to, number one, go after doctors that are prescribing these drugs. They need to go after the pharmacies, okay, because they keep records. I don't know about your state, but in my state, anytime you get any type of a painkiller, it goes on a special list that you have to sign off on. And they keep track of what they give you, the amount that they give you, and the doctor. And they keep a separate special list on that, okay? So they know who's doing what in the state of Texas. I don't know, but it should be thought that they would be doing the same thing elsewhere, but I don't know that to be a fact. Anyway, here's the information on West Virginia, and you should be surprised.
An eye-popping number of painkillers heading into that state. According to a new report out from the Charleston Gazette-Mail, drug companies shower the state with 780 million painkillers in 6 years. So what does that mean? Break that down. 433 pills for every single man, woman, and child in the state.
433 pills for every man, woman, and child, and fire alarms and red lights weren't going off all over the place. They knew goddamn well that there was a huge drug problem, not only with the usage, but probably a lot of those drugs were going out of state and being sold elsewhere.
Over those 6 years, this report also found that overdose deaths increased by 67%. All the while, heads of those drug firms collected salaries and bonuses in the tens of millions of dollars. Eric Ayer is behind this new investigation with the Charleston Gazette-Mail and following this story. So Eric, walk us through first what you learned in the investigation, what we should know about really thousands of pages of documents that you guys pulled.
Yeah, we got all the sales data for all the pharmacies where the drug distributors had shipped two particular pain pills. One was hydrocodone, which most people would know it as Lortab or Norco, and the other was OxyContin. And what we found was that there was a large number of overdose deaths caused by those two specific drugs. And over the same period, there were 780 million pills of both of those particular pain pills that were shipped to West Virginia. the overwhelming majority or the disproportionate number of those pills was shipped to southern West Virginia, which is we call them the southern coal fields. They're our poorest and most rural counties.
You talk about the large number of overdose deaths. We have a graphic on our screen right now. The top 4 counties for fatal overdoses caused by pain pills in the U.S., all 4 of them in West Virginia. That seems to show the unbelievable extent of this problem, Eric. What are legislators, what are people that you're talking to, experts in your state, trying to do?
Well, they've passed some legislation about 2 years ago that's had some positive effects. That particularly bill targeted the pain clinics, and it was sponsored by the governor. They've shut down a good 10 to 12 pain clinics, and what was going on at the pain clinics was people were paying cash, usually about $200 or so, going into one of these clinics, so that they might also be called pill mills, and they were getting prescriptions, but they weren't even, in many cases, seeing doctors. They were just basically cash for scripts was what was going on.
So what responsibility then do, for example, doctors have with all of this? And then talk about, too, you're reporting on the response from what you call the big 3 drug firms, basically supplying more than half of the pain pills that went into West Virginia. Well,
the doctors have a responsibility to know their patients and to prescribe what's medically necessary. What was going on here was that people would come in many cases they wouldn't even give a reason for, or maybe they would say they had back pain or something like that, or a toothache, and getting pills. As far as the response, from the drug wholesalers. Now these are the middlemen. They're the ones that ship the drugs from the manufacturers to the pharmacies. And what they've said to this point is that it's really the responsibility of the doctors, that they're just going ahead and filling these massive orders because there's prescriptions going to pharmacies. And that's where the problem starts. They say that we should be looking at the doctors first and the pharmacies probably second.
Eric Ayer with the Charleston Gazette-Mail, an incredibly eye-opening look at the epidemic in West Virginia. We're putting a link to your story up on my Twitter page, up on my Facebook page as well, so our viewers can check it out. Thanks for being with us. Let's see.
All right, now, I got to be honest with you. I was never into pills. Even when I was in college, I didn't do that. I smoked my share, probably more than my share of marijuana. But as far as doing pills and other, I'll call them exotics, nah, that wasn't me. So I really never saw what the fascination of doing pills was. And I'm glad that I don't know about it. So I really can't speak from personal experience with dropping painkillers. As a matter of fact, anytime I actually have to take a painkiller, I'm damn near dying, and my wife's always kicking my ass about waiting until the pain becomes too intense. But that's just me. But for all of those pills to be going into the state of West Virginia, I would love for them to do a story about the same medications going into states like, and again, New Hampshire and Indiana. I wonder what the numbers are there, because you also have a major epidemic of overdoses and deaths in those 2 states. So if they really want to fight the war on drugs, maybe they might want to start with the pharmaceutical companies and these doctors that they have accurate data on, as far as over-prescribing or creating mass subscriptions for these drugs. Prosecute some of those people, start throwing their asses in jail, and then you'll see a radical change, hopefully across the country.